Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share the video, and definitely leave a comment. Let me know what it is that you'd like to see. Today, we're going to go inside the federal prison system. We're going to go inside First Bloody Beaumont. For those of you that have been behind a wall, or those of you that had someone in prison, you know about Bloody Beaumont. You know why it got its name. It's kind of self-explanatory, right? Bloody Beaumont, another place where plenty of blood has been left on the razor wire. Plenty of people have died there. But we're going to talk about a couple dudes that I've been in prison with, dudes that I've been in the unit with, dudes that I associated with on a daily basis. We're going to talk about Christopher. We're going to talk about Ricky Fackrell. And we're going to get to Mark Jordan. So let's talk about Bloody Beaumont first. Let's talk about Ricky Fackrell. Young man, 23 years old, comes into prison with a 10-year sentence for some nonsense robberies, really some bullshit robberies that he did. And at the age of 23, after a good time in halfway house, Ricky would have been going home at about 29, 30 years old. He would have seen the streets again as a young man. Yeah, he'd have been able to live his life. But instead, Ricky's going to leave prison with a toe tag on. They're going to put him in a bag after the government takes his life. But why? How did Ricky get here? How did Ricky get here? How did his co-defendant Christopher Kramer get here? You see, Ricky started off with that little sentence, went to prison, became a gang member, white supremacist gang member, got involved in some violence early on in his bid. And you know, some guys come in, man, they got a chip on their shoulder. Some guys got something to prove. Other times, dudes come in and they're really just plain old tough guys and go balls to the wall. But when you go in with a 10-year sentence, of course, you're in prison, so you know you got to live up to, the standards, right? When you're in a dangerous place. My opinion, I don't think Ricky should have been in a USP from the jump. Had the government not sent him to a maximum security prison, I think things might have been a little bit different for Ricky. Might have been a little bit different for Chris or even Mark. But Ricky went on a spree, man. Got involved in some violence, got involved in stabbing a dude in Victorville, and he ended up with another 20 years. So his 10-year sentence became 20. And it was probably at that point that Ricky was like, man, I don't even care no more, man. I got 30 years. I'm going to get out when I'm 50 instead of 30. Who cares now, right? He got to the point where he probably really didn't care. The street didn't matter. But I bet you today it probably does. It probably does. And Ricky ends up eventually making it to Beaumont. Bloody Beaumont. For those of you that have been behind the wall, or those of you that know family members, you know what Bloody Beaumont is. Some of your family members might have been there. And dude's blood have been left on the razor wire at Bloody Beaumont on a daily basis. On a daily basis. And that's where Ricky and his comrade Chris ended up linking up to do something that might make you say, they link up and they got a homeboy that's part of their gang. And the homeboy, he violated the gang rules, right? He's getting drunk, being disrespectful. So they're like, yo, we got to discipline this dude. And those things happen in prison, right? It's crazy how another man disciplines another man, but that's what they do. People discipline people in prison. And on this particular day, I believe it was in 2014, June, Ricky and Chris decide they're about to discipline Leo for his transgressions. They go in the cell, they beat him up a little bit, and they stab him. But Leo dies. Leo dies. Takes his last breath in a cell inside of a federal prison. Gone forever. Gone forever. By his own homeboys, the dudes he used to eat with, dudes he used to kick it with. They murdered him. Gone. And now, you would think, it's over with, man. That, Ricky's all done. He's probably locked in a cell somewhere, nothing to worry about. But that's not the case. 3 months later, I guess Ricky's at the point where he's like, I don't really care about shit. And he's involved in another murder. He jumps on a dude named Ron, beats on him, jumps on him, starts jumping on his head, and guess where Ron's at? Same place Leo's at. Gone. Dead. Forever lost. Gone. Now, I mean, when you look at these dudes, this is what the prison picture looks like. And this is what dude looks like when he's going to trial. Now, if you've seen this dude going to trial out on the street, you would never expect him to be a prison killer, right? He doesn't look it. Suit and tied, ready to go. I mean, this guy could be your lawyer, I guess. Dude looks like a lawyer. Maybe he's the defense lawyer. Not really. He's the defendant. He's the dude that they're going to walk out with a toe tag. I mean, this stuff really happens, man. Prison is real. Prison is real. Prison is raw. Things happen. Bad things happen in these places. And sometimes, in fact, a lot of times, they happen at the hands of your homeboys, man. The dudes you were eating with, the dudes you were cool with. Crazy. Let's move on to Mark Jordan. The big homie Mark Jordan. I happened to meet Mark when he left the ADX. I met him at USP Lee. Mark was in Florence, Colorado. He was serving time over there in Florence. He, was also a robber. Started serving some time over there. And Mark got in a beef with a dude named Stone. But let me tell you how that beef started. A lot of people don't know the behind the scenes of Mark Jordan and what really happened with Mark. And this is a picture of Mark right here. Now, if you've seen Mark out on the street, I mean, looks like a pretty clean-cut kid. Probably wouldn't expect him to be a prison killer. But that's what he is. He's a prison killer. See, Mark had a drug habit. Mark was getting high in prison. And he was getting dope from Stone. And Mark couldn't pay. Mark couldn't pay, and Stone made a smart comment, told me, you better get my money, whatever. And Mark was like, man, I ain't got it, man. I got no way to get it. And Stone told him, well, you're going to sell your ass. You're going to get my money. Kind of made it like a joke, laughed it off. But Mark, being a young man in his 20s, I think he was a little bit nervous, a little bit scared. And he decided he was going to strike the next day. And that's what he did. He went the next day and seen Stone out on the yard, had his back to him, no shirt on. Pulled out a piece of steel, about 11, 12 inches, and he hit him. I think Mark hit him 3 times. Stone, natural reaction, he jumps up, he starts to run. And Mark runs after him. He's chasing him, but Stone's moving. Stone was a tough guy, man, in prison. People that knew Stone back then, they knew he was a tough dude. But he was running. He was running for his life. And then he fell. He fell and took his last breath. He died right out there on the yard. And Big Mark takes a knife, throws it on top of the building. Mark goes to trial, gets convicted, and he gets sentenced to another 420 months. It's over with. They put Big Mark's lights out. That was it for Mark. I mean, he'll probably get out if he lays back and chills, but when's he going to get out? Get out when he's 60, 70 years old, went in when he was 20. And I happened to meet Mark years after he was done with the ADX, right? Well, years after the murder. When Mark got out of ADX, he came to USP Lee. And I remember meeting him. And he had been sitting in a cell for 8 or 9 years all alone at the ADX complex. And when I met him, his eyes were huge. And being that, I'm from the East Coast, he's from the East Coast, I was one of the first dudes that he gravitated to. And when he would talk to me, he'd look at me with his eyes. Whoa, what was that? Come again? And I could just see the effects that the prison cell had on this dude, man. Like, take a look at this cell. Could you imagine living in there for 8 or 9 years? Honestly. Could you imagine that? Who the hell would want to live like that, right? It's a rough stay. Yeah, they give you a TV, but I'm sure the TV gets old after a while. Start to miss your family, start to miss your parents, start to miss human contact. And sometimes in prison, man, people have built up an image. And the image that they build is the image that they have to protect. And when Mark came to USP Lee, he wanted everybody to think he was a tough dude. He was a tough guy. But deep in his heart, I think he was a little bit scared. He was still afraid. He was afraid to be around people. But that didn't mean he was soft. I mean, dude was a killer. And sometimes scared people are the worst people. Because a scared dude will kill you. He won't think rationally. He'll just kill you. He'll just stab you. For real. Mark ended up trying to act like he was the shot caller for the Pennsylvania car over there for the white dudes. And there was a white dude over there that they had an issue with. And Mark was involved in another incident where that dude got stabbed. And actually, another dude was trying to stab him. And the dude took the knife. The dude that was getting stabbed took the knife, reached back and stabbed the dude that Mark sent on the dude. They get the wrestling, they fall on the ground, and what happens next? Mark steps on his arm. Cops end up coming, Mark goes to the hole, gets transferred to another prison. And eventually I think he went back either to the SMOOth program or he went to the ADX over that stabbing. He was out of ADX 3 or 4 months. I mean, this is prison, man. This is real. This is raw. Things happen in these places, man. Until next time, I'm out of here. Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Hit that subscribe button.